I see you, Ward. I see you. Good evening, everybody. It is good Sunday evening, 5 p.m. We are live on the YouTube. We're here on YouTube trying to see what we can see for the week. Let's see what the week has to offer us in the way of trades, in the way of opportunities. Let's see what we can do, right? Hope y'all had a good week and a good weekend. Now that you've got hopefully a little bit of downtime. I try to take on the weekends. I try to take a little bit of time away from the screens. I say a little bit. I shoot for a little bit. I try to go for a lot of it, but I don't tell myself it's a lot. I just tell myself it's a little bit. So that way, when it's a lot, I'm like, yes, because I spend so much time during the week in front of my screens that when I get some non-screen time on the weekends, I try to maximize. I try to do other things. I try to do things with my hands that will keep me away from doing this. This weekend, I had the great papers. Because I gave my algebra students a test on Friday. So this weekend I was grading some papers, doing some other little hands-based things so that I wouldn't be scrolling. I spent some time with some girlfriends of mine. That's always a good time to spend some time in community with, in real life, IRL situations where you're in real life with people and kind of pouring into them, getting poured into. That's always something that's good. You should always take some time to do that if you can. Went and celebrated with another girl who had graduated with her master's degree. And we went and celebrated with her. That's always good. These are the little things you have to do. You have to go do some things if you can, that even if you got to do them by yourself, because I'm not opposed to doing things alone. I, Arlissa, have no problem going to a restaurant by myself, going shopping by myself, just being with me. I have no problem with that. There are people who got to have a crew. That ain't me. When I'm around people, I enjoy the time that I am, but I don't have to have that. I don't have to have time with people. I'll take it, right? Even after that, though, my recharge time happens when it's just me. Some people recharge in groups. I don't recharge in groups. I recharge on my own. Hey, Val. Hey, Julie. How y'all doing? I already say hey to Ward. Y'all hope y'all are okay. Giving the platforms a chance to tell everybody that we're here, letting the folks know that we're live. We're going to look a little bit at what we anticipate coming for next week. All right. Let's go ahead and go. I'm going to I'll bring up to the screen. I'll bring us up to what did SPX do last week, right? So if we look on the weekly chart, let's start with the higher time frame. If we look at the weekly chart for SPX, what did SPX do last week? Now, SPX did this, you can say SPX, SPY, Triple Q, they're going to have very similar looks because SPX is made up of NVIDIA, Meta, Google, Tesla, like the bigger boys. SPY made up the same things. Triple Q made up of the same things. So these charts are going to all be similar. The only one that's probably different, and it's only a little bit, is IWM. IWM is probably the only one that's really different. Okay. So SPX on the week put in failed 2 down, which is, is giving bullish energy for subsequent weeks. I'm going to talk about in a minute what I've heard some scuttlebutt across the intranets about some stuff that may be happening this week in SPX, but we'll get to that in a minute. What happened though last week? Last week we had a red week. And then this past week, we had a dip down and then it recovered. The week opened at 68.19, 99 or 68.20. So it dipped a little bit, dipped down to 60, into the 6,700s, recovered throughout the week, it went up as high as 69.17 or something like that. I don't think it went that high. It went as high as 69.15, which I think happened on Friday, and then closed at 69.09. That's where the week closed last week. Let's go look at the daily charts. Okay, we only had 4 days last week because we had a holiday last Monday. It was President's Day, right? So we got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, doji. You can't even hardly see the little candle. I can take this off so that way we can see it. But this little doji right here, this was open and close at roughly the same place on Thursday. Open and close within dollars of each other, which y'all know I will call that manipulation when the open and the close are in the same place. 68.61 was the open. 68.61 was the close. They closed within 50 cents. How does a $6,900 stock close within 50 cents? Open and close within 50 cents. Anybody know? No. Yeah, because that's like impossible. Thursday, the range was like 40 points, 35 or 40 points all day, and it opened and closed within 50 cents. Okay, just know that somebody's playing the strings. The Muppet puppet strings has probably happened on Thursday, right? Not just Thursday, but a lot of other days too. This was Tuesday. Failed 2 down on Tuesday. We got a gap up on Wednesday. We had a gap up from Tuesday to Wednesday. Basically would have had this gap here. And this was the gap that was left. And that gap was closed by Thursday's price action. Thursday's price action came down and went through it. Friday did the same thing again. Basically, gap all gone. Gap all gone. Yep, the gap's all gone after that. Okay. But there was a gap between Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, this is the daily chart, like I said. Let's go look at IWM just because I want us to see how it may be a little bit different. This is IWM small cap, Russell, the RUT. IWM is the ETF. This was Tuesday, inside day on Tuesday. Wednesday, it went out to the upside, but then didn't stay up there. Couldn't really stay up there. Thursday, failed 2 down. Friday, 2 up. So this one really didn't go barely. Oh, we got a little wick right here. I'm thinking there's a wick there, and that's why we have, yeah, there we go. There's a wick here. That's how we got the 2 up here, was because we have a wick. I'll leave that for now. I was going to change something else, but I won't worry about it right now. Not important. Not important. Well, what is important? Let's go and turn it off. That way I don't got to worry about whether it's showing like it's supposed to be showing or not. Some indicators I use just for analysis. Other indicators I use for actual trading. Like I use my VWAP every day, all day. VWAP is on for the session every day. I use that as a guide. That and a few other things, but that one's one of my main guides. But I'll use it for other things when I'm analyzing subsequent strikes and things in the future. I'll also use VWAP for that as well. Right. Okay. So this was IWM. IWM on the week is an inside week. Basically means it's inside of its previous week. So it hasn't really broken out to the top or the bottom. It's basically consolidating on the inside. We got to wait and see what happens next. IWM had a low of 255, I think that is 259, and a high of 267. So about 8 points from top to bottom in $8 top to bottom in IWM. Got to wait to see, does it go on up or does it go on down? That's what happened in IWM. Okay. All righty. That was last week. Now let's go talk about what's potentially coming this week. What do we potentially have on the horizon for this week? Oh, well, before I go there, I want to add this before I move on past it. Hey, Pastor Will, how you doing? This is I do these trades of day. I try to do them 4 to 5 days a week. It all depends on, how life, as they say, life be life, and it depends on how life is lifing as how I do these. But this was the one I did, one of the ones I did last week, trade of the day on February 20th. I talked about Gamma. I talked about the PDT hack. I talked about how we did iron condors. This was all on the 20th. The 20th, maybe that The 20th was Friday. I wonder if that should have been 19. Yeah, I think that should have been 19 because I don't think I did one for Friday. Yeah, that should really say 19. Oh, Lord. Got the wrong date on there because the 20th was Friday. I did that video on Thursday because I talked about how it was a perfect day for iron condors. A perfect day for iron condors. So y'all know I need to fix that thumbnail because I like to be accurate in this, in these streets out here. And that video was not the 20th, it was the 19th. So I will fix that for sure. But that was Thursday. It was Thursday's video. I wanted to share with you what's a perfect, almost perfect day for iron condors. So though I told you, I talked about how the price opened and closed within 50 cents of each other. When the price is doing that, when there's a doji day like that, that is a really good day for iron condors. Iron condors are put credit spreads and call credit spreads, top and bottom. You can get the top and the bottom, and let price, theta decay work in your favor. The price isn't really moving up and down, so you're not getting the movement from price helping you to decay your premiums, but you are getting time decay. So now on Friday, there was, let's go look at what Friday did. Am I still on there? Oh no, I've changed the screen. But on Friday, I'm going to take us back to the chart so we can see what Friday looked like. I got to go back to SPX so we can see what kind of fun we had on Friday. Because, we do live trading on Friday, me and my community, and we always have a good time with that. Friday wasn't as much of a one-way. Wasn't no iron condors. It was Friday was OPEX day. OPEX was where a bunch of stuff expires. Anytime you got a bunch of stuff expiring, then I'm taking this off and let's go back to the chart. Bunch of stuff expiring can cause volatility. Right, let's see what happened on Friday. I am going to turn VWAP back on and I'm going to adjust it to the session. I had it on the week and the month because I was doing some stuff with it. So now let's go back to putting it on the session so we can see how did the VWAP work with us on Friday. Okay, turn it back on. Where are you? Do I still have it turned off? Yes, I do. There we go. That darkened blue line in the middle, that is VWAP, volume weighted average price. And price likes to revert back to the mean. It's a statistics-based dealio, right? Price went up on Friday. First of all, price gap down because it closed on Thursday at 68.62, somewhere in there. 68.61, somewhere in there. And it gapped down to 68.41. So it went down about 20 points, dropped a little bit more, down another like 5 points, and then it recovered. This is the first 30 minutes on 30-minute chart. Got above VWAP. Well, VWAP is kind of still forming in that first 30 minutes. And then we went above VWAP, came down, tested it, bounced up, came back through it. Nice little set of tweezers right here at 68. Let us know that price wasn't going to stay down here. And then it went back above VWAP yet again. Put credit spreads day, this back and forth, depending on when, how you're trading. If you're trading on smaller time frames, which I try to keep my chart on the 30-minute at the minimum, especially after I've gotten out of the first opening range, right? So after we got out of the opening range, which y'all, if you watch any of my trade recap videos, you see that after the first 15 minutes, I've set the opening range, which is this dotted line. And then I start moving. If we break out of this opening range, then I'm trading with the trend. That first trade for me is a trade with the trend. It did climb a bit, went up as high, like I said, at 69. It went up as high as 69.15. and then pulled back, danced a little bit, and then went up and closed at 69.09. That wasn't anticipated. There was a lot more downwards or puts action was anticipated on Friday, and it didn't happen, which is why I would suggest anytime you're doing your trading, right? Do your analysis, which is what you should do. Do your analysis. Have yourself in your mind what you think may be the lean for the day, but don't get so married to your bias that you can't adjust, right? Don't get so married. When we started on Friday morning, our gamma chart had a whole lot of red and a little bit of green. And it was like, okay, this is going to be a put today. Thinking it's going, well, puts as far as going down, call credit spreads is what we trade. But you're thinking it's going to be, I was thinking it was getting ready to be a down day. Shoot, it gapped down, dropped just a taste, and then decided I don't like it down here. SPX said, nope, I'm not trying to be down here all day. And then at 10 o'clock, we've got the judgment from the Senate that the tariffs were going to be reversed. I guess the market really liked that information. So next thing you know, you had this big monster candle. You see this big wick? I've heard it called a God candle. I don't know how it got that name, but this big monster candle goes up, breaks out. It went up as high as 69.09. This was the first time it went to 69.09 on Friday. It went like straight up there, a big monster candle at 10 o'clock. And then it pulled back, actually closed back inside the opening range almost, closed at 68.71. That's like a 30-point, 40-point drop almost. After going up, it popped right back down. Still got a wick and still climbed back out of the opening range, but that 10 o'clock candle was right after the judgment about the tariffs, and price stayed bullish the rest of the day. So again, when you got your idea or your bias in your mind, you have to be ready to put that down. If the price don't go with the bias, if it starts doing something different, I always tell my folks, trade what you see. Not what you expect to see or what you hope to see, but trade what you actually see. Trade what you see. Right? Let's do that. Trade what you see, baby. Okay. All right. So that's what our charts looked like last week. Let's go look at what's coming up next week. Since I'm here, might as well hit earnings. I'm already here, right? This is what's coming up in earnings this week. On Monday, we've got Gen DX, look like Gene DX, Domino's Pizza, Axum. I'm not sure who these people are. Steppen, Emira, Dominion Energy, Fresh Pet, Freight OS, and Lincoln Tech looks like. That's all Monday morning before the market opens. Hims and Hers. I thought Hims and Hers was having a little bit of an issue. Didn't they get turned off as far as weight loss drugs? Didn't they get some no's? Ward says, no surprise the tariffs reversal would help well, that's true. Okay, BWXT, Keysight, Crotos, PSC. Not sure who this is. One OK, EverQuote, UCT. I'm not sure what this is in front of it. ADEI. That's all Monday after close. Tuesday morning, we've got Cipher Mining. I'm assuming that goes with crypto. Home Depot is Tuesday morning. Digital Ocean, Energy. Not sure. Amerisports. Looks like this is Planet Fitness. Yeah, Planet Fitness. Exometry, FIS, which is Fiserv, Expeditors. Yeah, that's all Tuesday morning. AMC. Boy, we used to trade the smoke out of AMC. What is AMC doing these days? I need to go look because we used to trade AMC with our cash secure puts. It's $1. AMC worth $1. And the movie theaters stay open like they do, and the stock is worth $1.21. Are you serious? Ah, la, 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 la. Okay, let me go to a day. $1? What y'all do to AMC? AMC was at least in the $3-4 range. Not anymore, it says. Not anymore. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, over the past, since this month, it's fallen from $1.50 down to $1.20. Oh, man. I really thought AMC might have been doing a little bit better. No. Okay. Well, there's that. There's that. Okay. AMC has earnings after close on Tuesday. Mercado Libre. Kava has earning. AXON, Navitas, Zeta, Workday, Tempest, HP, and First Solar. I think that says First Solar. Yes. FSLR, I believe. I've made this so big I can't hardly see it. But I had to make it big enough for me to put it on the screen for y'all. This comes from Earnings Whispers, by the way. You can always look at it on Instagram. So if what I'm saying is like, I don't know what that one is, go check them out on Instagram. All righty. On Wednesday morning, we got Hut 8, TJ Maxx, Circle, Photronics, Trinity Valens. Look, this is I'm not sure who that is. Recursion, Oddity, and Ionis. Wednesday after market closes. Ding, 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 ding. Y'all see who's going to be Wednesday after the close? NVIDIA. I know that's not their, commercial or their song, but I always hear that song when I see NVIDIA. That's Wednesday after close. So stuff might be just waiting for NVIDIA to see if NVIDIA can still carry. Can you still carry us, NVIDIA? We still need you to carry us a bit. The Trade Desk, Salesforce is CRM, Snowflake, this all Wednesday after close. IonQ, Array, Synopsys, Pure Storage, NU, and Zoom, all Wednesday after close. Thursday, D-Wave, Vistra, Celsius, EOS, ACM, Baidu, Qnity, Rockspace, I'm not sure who that is, Giga Cloud. Now, these cloud names have really been on the up and up because, again, it's another place where data has to be stored. And a lot of data is being stored in cloud resources, and those cloud names seem to be getting their fair share of purchases. Okay. Thursday after close, CoreWeave, not sure who that is, Marathon or Mara. I believe that's Mara. Dell, InnoData, Opco, SoundHound has earnings this week. I have some SoundHound. Zscaler, Duolingo, and Compass Diversified. Friday morning, we got Energy Fuels. Looks like Endeavor, First Dibs, Global Star, Via, TCP, Sunstone, Arbor, Somebody Corporation, and Global. These are all the earnings coming up this week. Got a few that are, I'm sure, more anticipated than others at NVIDIA, CRM, Snowflake, maybe some cloud names, maybe a few more that are anticipated. All right, let's go see if we got some stuff. NVIDIA earnings. I just talked about that a little bit. SCOTUS tariff fallout. What to watch this week. Earnings from the chip giant, the world's most valuable company, will be a bellwether on the state of the AI trade. Regardless, NVIDIA, again, not investment advice, but NVIDIA seems to be a steady place to dollar cost average your money. NVIDIA, Amazon, even though it dropped a bit, Amazon dropped a bit after earnings. It's been on a bit of a recovery mission. I'll pull up the chart here in a minute. Wall Street weighs stock market winners amid the AI scare trade. It's almost like we don't have nothing to talk about, so we keep talking about AI. It's almost like that keeps like, let's go back to what AI must be the reason why we're struggling now. It's like that's all that you think the reason is, like our economy, not a reason, right? The tariff situation, not a reason. The war, potential war in Iran, not a reason. We're going to talk about AI chips. That's why the market is doing what it's doing, because of AI. Y'all don't think it's anything else? Nothing else. That so many of our high up government officials are in the Epstein files that we still haven't seen. That we don't think that got nothing to do with nothing. But that doesn't show up here. How come that none of that stuff is showing up on this main page of news? Okay. Typical American worker has less than 1,000 saved for retirement. Germany's about to find out whether its recovery is real. Oil analysts say there's a supply glut. Why hasn't it pushed prices lower? Trump threatens Netflix with consequences. Are you serious? How is Trump all into a company's business over the Rice board seat? Why are you all in Netflix business? Everywhere you won't have no business being. Why? NVIDIA is moving in on Intel and AMD's home turf. Okay, let me see. Trump's new flat rate tariff is a boost for China and Brazil. EU may freeze a U.S. trade deal approval on Trump tariff chaos. Oh, now this was interesting. A secret, well, maybe not interesting. A U.S. Secret Service says an armed man was shot and killed at Mar-a-Lago. Don't think anybody should ever lose their life about whatever's going on, but I will move on. I have things to say, but I won't say. Okay, moving from here. Let's go look and see what's coming up on, I think this next one is CNBC. Yeah. Now, did you all see that the DHS abruptly, there was a suspension of TSA PreCheck? Like, wow. Did you think there was somebody who was already approved for PreCheck who was trying to go through? That's the whole reason why y'all have TSA PreCheck, that you pre-check the people who are approved for PreCheck. Hello? Because I like the TSA PreCheck myself. I walk right on through. I meet my husband on the other side. He's still waiting on his approval. And when we get to the airport, I'm like, I'll be over there. I'll be over there. Interestingly, so what's so funny is he was the one who was so adamant about us getting TSA PreCheck, and I was kind of que sera about it, like, oh, no big deal, whatever. Until we finally he made the appointment for us to go, and we went, and my stuff came back within like a week because I have no criminal history and I was never in the military. So when they go check my background, nothing shows up. Like, she's just been an American. I mean, I've, been an adult who was supporting the tax base of my whole adult life, but it's like, I don't have anything to go and look at. So it, like, in no time, mine was back and approved. His is still waiting. This was a couple months back. His is still waiting. It's like, so he was the one who was pushing that we get it. And now that I've gotten it, he's like, well, I still got to wait over here. I'm the one who wanted us to have it. Aw. Okay, blizzard snarls air travel along the U.S. East Coast as airlines cancel thousands of flights. Is there a blizzard happening somewhere? I don't think. I'm in Florida. It's not even cool here. What is the weather? 60 degrees? Nope. This is called the East Coast, but it's definitely the lower East Coast, the Southeast. East Coast braces for crippling snow, powerful winds as blizzard nears. I have heard a lot of wind outside, but I haven't been out there. I have not been outside today, y'all. I have not been outside. Check out Claire. I might have to check out Claire Bryant. I might have to do that. Trump demands Netflix fire Susan Rice as the DOJ probes the Warner deals. Like, Trump, why are you in their business? Armed man got that part. The next U.S.-Iran talks will be held on Thursday in Geneva. Oman says, okay, the world's largest energy lender has a new head. Here's how it could shape the U.S. Okay. Well, that's what's happening in CNBC. The markets will open, or futures will open, in about 30 minutes. You'll be able to see where's the market opening today. Is it cold up there? Somebody says it's wintry mix in DC, Baltimore. Okay. That's why I don't do up there. Nope, and nope. As soon as a cool breeze come, it come to y'all first. I'll pass. Now they did tell us that we're supposed to have like a freeze warning tonight. Supposed to get really cold the first few days of this week, which, okay, I'm cool with that. 30s works for me. 30s works for me. 40s, I don't really like the 30s, but I'd rather have it than have what y'all got up north and that snow and all that foolery. I'll pass on all of that. I'll pass. Let's see what's coming up this week. Okay, so Monday, 8 o'clock, we've got FOMC member Waller speaking. And then 10 o'clock, we've got factory orders month over month. So orangish, yellow folder. Tuesday, we've got some FOMC, a little bit of weekly employment. FOMC members will speak. HPI, Waller, Cook is going to speak. Consumer confidence comes up at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. 3:20, some more FOMC people. President Trump is going to speak at 9 o'clock at night on Tuesday. Not sure what that's all about. Let's go open up and see what they said. Oh, he's going to deliver the State of the Union address. Oh, really? Oh. That's interesting. See how I keep up with stuff. He's going to deliver the State of the Union on Tuesday night at 9. On Wednesday, we've got some FOMC crude oil inventories at 10:30. FOMC people will speak again. I would anticipate, even though it's not on here, I would anticipate there being market movement or fallout on Wednesday from the discussion that happens on Tuesday night. Even though nothing is on here for Wednesday, I'm expecting the stuff that is said on Tuesday night is going to carry over into the market on Wednesday. Okay, so put that on your list. If you're a swinger, well, if you swing trades, because swinger is something different. If you're going to swing trades over from Tuesday to Wednesday, keep that in mind. Okay. Thursday, unemployment claims in the morning at 8:30. FOMC member Bowman will speak, natural gas storage. And Friday, we've got PPI given, and that data comes out at 8:30 in the morning on Friday morning. So as far as overnight things that if you're concerned about, you're looking at swinging a trade overnight, I don't know if I'd go with Tuesday night into Wednesday because President Trump will speak on Tuesday night. I may not swing on Wednesday into Thursday because you got unemployment claims coming in at 8:30 in the morning. Okay. And then Friday, maybe not then either, Thursday night to Friday, because you got PPI coming up at 8:30 that morning. Okay. So those are 3 times maybe you don't swing trades overnight. Okay. Okay. Let's see where we are. I think I covered all the stuff I wanted to cover there. Let's go look at, while I'm looking at this stuff, if you got a few tickers you want to look at, put them in the chat. Y'all know I won't do a whole bunch of tickers on here, but I do have some that I'm thinking about. Looking at what is to come for next week. All right. So I shared that for the week, SPX is a failed two down on the week, which generally is a bullish movement. This is a bullish setup generally. So there may be this coming week, maybe some upwards movement. We do have some headwinds though. See all these big wicks? Price has not been able to go up and stay up. Right, it's gone up here, 69.09. In the past week, it went up to a little above 7,000 in the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's gone up there. It just hasn't been able to stay up. All right, so not that I'm saying it won't go back to 7,000, because if all the right things get said by the right people, price will go on and SPX will get bullish and off will run, especially if NVIDIA earnings are good. If NVIDIA's earnings are good, yeah. But we've got, this is kind of a bullish setup. You do need it to get price to get back above 69.15 to really be the push, because you got to get past this. So 69.15 would be the trigger to go higher. If you're looking at that bullish move, 69.09, if you're looking even closer, because we've not been able to get really above there. You can see on the daily chart, we've gone up, but we've not stayed up. So we need to get above 69.09 and hold. And we've not done that in a while, right? It's been a few weeks, few days, a week since we did that. So that's a move there. That's an SPX. Let's go see triple Q. Again, like I said, it's probably going to look very similar. Let's look at the weekly chart. Failed to down on the week for triple Q as well. It's got a weekly entry here at the top of about 610, which it closed on Friday at 608. But you got to get above 610 for some more bullish movement on the Qs from the weekly standpoint. If you look at the daily standpoint, we've got an outside day on Friday, but it's still, you need to push above that, above 610 in order to keep moving. All right, that's triple Q. It did end in a bullish setup. So it could push on through, but just, you got to trade what you see. Like I always say, trade what you see. Right. SPY looks very similar, but you can tell, I mean, look at this. It's kind of been in a zone. SPY and SPX, all of them has kind of been in a zone for several weeks. This is a weekly chart. And all of these weeks have been as high as 697 as low as 675, but this has gone on. Talk about consolidation. This has been in the same zone or the same window since November. Right, it's kind of dropped a little bit out of it down here, but it has been in this same area, definitely back to December, kind of in the same zone. So SPY, SPX, Triple Q, all of them kind of doing some of the same things, right? So there's that. IWM on the week. We're on a week, yes. IWM, talk about consolidation. Now, we do enjoy IWM's consolidation because for credit spreads, we could trade some iron condors. You can stay right in the zone, baby, and we can trade you week after week. But IWM has had a good little movement up since December. It's had a good little steady bullish trend, but over the past 6 weeks, it's been in the zone. Over the past 6 weeks, it went up as high as like 271 and some change, almost 272, but it's not been able to even go back there, and it's not been able to stay up there. There's a gap. I'm not sure if I have a gap up here per se, but maybe I do. Okay, so I have to open up a lower time frame chart to confirm, but I put that up there for a reason, so I would say yes. And there's a gap. Wonder why I have that. Must be on the daily chart. Anyway, this is where IWM is. Now, IWM finished the week, like I said, as an inside week. So it needs to break one way or the other. It needs to break to the upside for more bullish movement, or break below this one candle to come back down from here if we're going to see whatever sustained move or whatever breakout move happens on IWM. Okay. I said I was going to look at Amazon because Amazon kind of been on a little bit of a recovery mission after earnings, right? Earnings for Amazon, it went down as low as, and 2 weeks ago, it had earnings, right? It had earnings on the week of February the 2nd, and it went as low as 200.31, went right to $200. And then it went a little bit lower the subsequent week and a little bit lower this week. This week's low was 196. This week's low for Amazon, I'm not sure if y'all can see that. I'm trying to make it as big as possible. The low for Amazon this week was 196, right? Left a little bit of a gap down here. It filled some of it, but left the gap. But they recovered. This is a failed 2 down. It recovered after this week, or during this week. All week, Amazon was green, baby. Put credit spreads. Put credit spreads. If you're a put credit spreader, you might consider getting below this gap. Oh, I did not mean for that to be super small. Probably because when I do my trade of the day videos, I'm on a smaller screen, so I can't have this thing be all monster size because it takes up too much room. But that's too little. We need a little bit bigger. Need a little bit bigger action there. There we go. Maybe do a put credit spread below the gap. If you're feeling like, it'll keep, it's actually pretty good little going up. But this is the weekly chart. We might be able to go even a little higher. You actually can go up into the 202 because below the gap push at 192 is probably not as good premiums down here, right? But just know that just like Amazon went up, it can come back for that gap. It's at 210 right now. Close on Friday at 210. Look at anybody who follows me for credit spreads knows that you can go check out your delta, your probability out of the money. Hey, Selena, probability out of the money, or something else, some other whatever delta you do to enter for your credit spreads. At this point, it does need to move. Amazon does need to get past this 212 area. It's got a pivot here and got 212 as high as it's been in the past couple weeks. It needs to push past there in order to keep going. If you can see that. See, there's a high up here of like 212.81. That's as high as it's gone in the last couple weeks. It needs to push past there if it's going to try to go and fill this monster-sized gap that was left. Let's put this gap onto the chart because you need it. This gap lets you know that this is the gap that was left after earnings. SPX needs to get back, not SPX. Oh, I talk about SPX so much that everything sounds like them. Amazon needs to get back in that gap if it's trying to fill it and keep moving higher. There's also another one up here. Now that we're marking gaps, did not come on here to be charting no gaps and such. But since we're here, as a friend of mine says, might as well, even though that is not what you're supposed to say. It's might as well, but we'll take it. Funniest joke ever. Okay, there's that. Those are two gaps above Amazon's current price that it will need to get back to in order to push back to its highs after earnings. All right, but you could consider a put credit spread going into, as it goes into the gap. Just know that bottom of the gap will most likely provide some resistance, because that's what gaps do. They provide resistance. Then they start to fill and yada yada. You move on from there. Okay, so that's some ones that are going, that are showed some bullish action out of last week is these regulars: Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, Triple Q, Google, SPY. All of those are ones that showed bullish action on the week. I have a couple on my list that showed some bearish action on the week. We won't spend a whole lot of time here because I need to go and get ready for training and charting with my membership. All right, so we've got, this was last week's chart on Target. It says Target last week. Now, up until then, Walmart, Target, all of them really kind of had a lot of bullish movement as the rotation of the monies has happened. And so we had a good push on Target. Walmart had something very similar, another up week, Monday, the 9th. But then last week, still had a little bit of upwards, but it pulled back. This is kind of doji-ish now. It's where we going. But this is giving failed to up vibes. It's giving failed to up, which means that, hey there, it could potentially be coming back, whether to pull back as a get some more strength or pull back because it's going the other way. You got to see. So failed to up, depending on what you see happen here, might consider a call credit spread above the high of last week. You want to get confirmation that it's really going in the direction you want. That's the entry right there. It needs to get below 114 if you're going to enter. If you're going to enter going with the call credit spread going back down. Okay. Let me see. Nope, I didn't want you to do that. I wanted you to do this above last week. Yep, give me a typing entry below 114.19. That should be an OW, not an IW. Not sure what kind of spelling I'm doing. There we go. You need price to drop below this in order for you to have a good entry there. If we're looking at the daily chart, Target's been kind of chilling for the last 4, 8, 10, 12 days. Came up here and kind of hanging out. Does that mean it'll turn and go back? Could. Does it mean it'll chill out here until it can go up? Could. Okay, trade what you see. But it has been on a nice little bullish move. All right, keep that in mind. All righty. Yeah. There's that. I was going to look at UNH and then we're going to land the plane. UNH on the week also gave those same failed to up vibes. This is UNH on the week. Go bearish. It's been bearish. It seems like was sat here in the zone for a while and then decided it was ready to come on down. Let me see how long did it stay up here in this zone? Been up here for a minute, right? Since September. This is a weekly charts. So it's kind of been in this consolidated area since September on the weekly charts, and then finally pulled back some this week. So it failed 2 up on the week. If you were looking at what could potentially be an entry after call credit spread above weekly, I'm typing fast and the computer's not keeping up with my keystrokes. Above weekly high Entry below the low of this candle, which is 285.55. You gotta let the chart show you that it's really gonna turn. There's your entry for it, getting you a call credit spread if you want. But it could decide, I just was chilling here for a minute and going up the other way. And if that's the case, then you take another put credit spread with it going up. That's how that goes. We trade what we see, baby. We trade what we see. Yes, you won't have to have any. Well, I might have a bias. You know, you might come to the chart with a bias of what you believe it might do. But if it does something different, you go with what you see it doing. This is also the environment where you trade for as short a time as possible, but as long as you need. Trade for as short a time as possible, but as long as you need. Because swing trading 4, 5, and 6 weeks, all that in this market, stuff don't seem to be following regular price action, regular charting, regular structure, the things that we would normally look to see how things are going to move. One tweet will blow your trade out the water. One piece of information blows your leap that you got 2 or 3 years out, going the other way. Your 3 week, 6 week trade going the other way. So trade as long as you need to, but as short as possible. So if that's a day, 1 day, 2 day, this week, that kind of thing. And when you see your profits, take them. Okay? Because between the night and tomorrow, it might be a little different. Okay? So here we are. The membership, where I teach, coach, train, all the good things. I'm getting ready to talk to them in about 10 minutes, 12 minutes. We're going to have some training, look at our chart, see how we can finish this month strong. Because we need to finish February real strong. Gonna look at that as a group here in a minute. I do alerts, training, coaching. I'm in the chat with them during the day. We're doing all the things. I'm there for guidance. I'm here for all the things. Scalp the swings and the leaps. Yo, yeah. That's what Selena says. Scalp the swings and the leaps. Definitely scalp them. You can have a long-term outlook on a particular thing, but if you're gonna buy a leap, at least use the leap for covered calls along the way. If you're going to have a leap, use it for stuff along the way. That's what you need to do. Okay, so there's that. I talked about those. Okay, there's that. Membership, we've got that. Copy trading, still doing that. Copy trading, if you want to just be passively riding along while I do the trading, you can do that. Okay, you can enter copy trading. We've got peakbot.com/educator2trader. Send the link in the comments. You basically get to just put your money in the account and I'll trade it. All right, that's how that goes. All righty, so let's see. This week we've got a few things coming up. Right? You want to keep your head ready for, again, don't be demerit to no bias. Every day you check it, every hour, don't be so jumpy that you can't, trade properly. But we also don't want to be so, I'll use the word ignorant, that we believe stuff is going to just ride and be in the same direction forever. Because you can see SPX can start in one direction in the morning, break out of an opening range and decide, I don't want to go that way no more, and turn right back on you. So again, you get what you're going to get along the way. And when you hit profit targets, you grab your money off. And if there's another entry, then you re-enter. But you secure the bag along the way. Secure the bag along the way. All right, everyone. I'm going to see you tomorrow morning. I'm, on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and mostly Fridays. It depends. Friday, I kind of don't come because I spend all day online with my community. So that just gives me an extended amount of screen time. So sometimes on Friday, I don't come to the YouTube call. But Monday and Wednesday for sure, I'm here on YouTube and we talk about what the market, the morning looks like, what the opening, what the plan is for the day. I come and do that. Be sure to like and subscribe, who do all the things, tell all the people that we're here. Follow me in all the social media places. Go watch some of the trade recap videos. I have all of my resources are over at educator2trader.com. All of my trainings, my full strategy of how we trade credit spreads masterclass over there. How to use Gamma is over there. How to use the PDT hack is there. Like everything you're looking for that I talk about on any of those videos, you can find it at educator2trader.com. Okay. Okay. All right, everybody. I'll see you in the morning. I want you to stay green and let's get this money. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.